Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. The coach is back. Kids and Sports right here now on the Rant Radio Network. Thanks for joining me. Before we get into the show, and I've got this first show back is going to be fantastic. I got a great guest coming in later. But as always, a coach has to give some conditioning drills. We got some homework to get started, and so I want to do that. I'm glad you're here. Make sure let your friends know I'm now on the Rant Radio Network. You get that rantradionetwork.com, and we're not only on the audio now, but we're also got the video too. If you want to call the show, if you got a youth sports question, the number is 866-959-RANT, and that's 866-959-7268. The website is, besides rantradionetwork.com, also check out kidsandsports.com. That's www.kidz, and as in Nancy, sports.com. And I've also got another domain I'm doing some developing, and that's yourkidsandsports.com, and I spelled it right, KIDSAND sports.com. Okay, so lots going on. Since I'm new to the Rant Radio Network, with all the followings here, I want to introduce myself and my show, because this is different. This is not just a sports talk show. This is not, we're just going to sit around and find out why, Derek Jeter isn't playing yet, why the Yankees lose a count, or the Angels lose 4 straight to Houston. We're not going to do that. I'm here to help you and your child, your son or daughter, to have a successful journey in the world of youth sports. And for those of you that maybe, aren't into sports yet, I hope you'll listen to the show, because there's a lot of value to sports for our kids. Whether they ever go on to be a college athlete or not, that's not the biggest thing. That's a huge part of it. Sure it is. But there's a lot of things that our kids can learn playing sports that they're not going to learn anywhere else. They're not going to learn it in the classroom. They're not going to learn it because mom or dad says so, or whatever. They're going to learn it by doing, by practicing, by playing with others on the field. So I hope you'll check it out. I talk about everything. My motto, teach first, win later. And I'll tell you where I come up with that. I've been coaching youth sports for over 30 years. I've coached basketball at a boys club over in Phoenix, where I sort of got started. I've coached some Little League baseball. Now I'm hooked on softball. That's my big thing. I am the head softball coach at Western High School in Anaheim, California. I just finished my second year there. Fantastic group of girls. We're in a tough league, but you know what? Got some great kids and doing a real good job. Matter of fact, I'm wearing a shirt. One thing that I'm proud of when it comes to kids, I don't know if you can see it, those of you that got me on the audio, I got a shirt that was a gift from one of my players last year. We had a senior named Kaylee Puloa who got a scholarship to Georgia. And she was a very instrumental player on their team this year. They got to the College World Series, or to the playoffs end of it. They didn't get to Oklahoma City, but they got knocked out by ASU. Now, that's important because I'm born and raised in Tempe, Arizona. I'm a diehard Sun Devil, and there isn't too often you're going to see me wearing something other than maroon and gold when it comes to sports. But when it comes from one of my players, that's more important to me right now. And so I've got this Georgia Bulldog shirt on. I proudly wear that. I love it whenever, there's no greater joy for a coach than when you have a player that's played for you, that they go on and succeed at a higher level, whether it's sports or otherwise, but especially when it's sports. Now, I didn't make Kayla who she was. I had her for 1 year. And boy, I'm glad I had her. I do have her little sister playing for me, great kid. But it was neat just meeting Kaylee and having her play, the leadership she showed for that year, and just the respect she showed to her teammates and to us as coaches. It's pretty awesome. And then to be able to see her go and have an impact at a higher level, that's pretty neat. I've had that happen a few times over the years. I had a young lady, Christina Zambrana, that played for me in 8 and under in ponytail softball way back when my daughter first started getting into it. And she went on to play for ASU later. I had her for 1 or 2 years get to play with my daughter, and it's really cool. So, you hope you have a little impact on the kids' lives. At some point, you give one little piece. It's a big puzzle. They're going to get so much information over the years. So that's something that's important to me. And I see a lot of young rec ball teams and sometimes even travel teams where the coaches go out there and they think they could just recruit all the talent and they're going to go out and win right away. And they forget you got to be teaching at the highest levels. And I've even had college coaches tell me that they don't stop teaching when they get to college. There's always something more to learn to get better. So I'm glad to be at the high school level. I work with kids, whether they're a superstar or whether they're just learning to play the game. And believe it or not, and I think this happens in a lot of high schools, maybe not some of the real strong programs, but a lot of high schools, you got kids that come out that have never played the game and they want to try out. Now, if they're going to certain schools, and examples that I'm sort of aware of are, Modern Day High School in Orange County, probably Pacific here in Garden Grove. I know when my daughter was in Santa Fe, they would have 50 and 60 kids come out trying out for 5, 10, 15 spots. A lot of schools aren't so lucky. I have a dozen kids come out if I'm lucky. And, if I get 8, and you're going to have some of them that have some athletic ability and they want to play softball. And if, you find a way to fit them in and see what they can do to develop. I look at this, it's not their fault that they did not get involved earlier. Maybe the parents weren't aware of it, of what was available to them around there. Maybe they didn't have money. Who knows what it is? Whatever it is, you got this young man or young girl in front of you now and they want to play a sport and, give them a shot, see what they did. We're flashing out here. Anyway, so that's where I come up. Teach first, win later. The wins will come. And that's important to me. And on here, another thing that I really like, and they changed it around this year, one of my favorite commercials out there is the one the NCAA would run quite often. They say 75% of all student athletes, Division I athletes and stuff, go pro in something other than sports. They go pro in something other. Might be a dentist, might be a journalist, might be a doctor. You don't know what they're going to do. Most of them don't get to play professional sports, okay? It's still a minute piece of the pie as far as all the athletes out there that actually get to play in the biggest stages. But when we see that one athlete, we want to give them the opportunity. But how can we teach our kids to be successful? The lessons they're going to take off the field, they can put to work in their business life. And so let's look at it a little bit different way. Let's just don't think about that win we're going to get, the T-shirts we might get, that one trophy we might get. Those are all just temporary. They're not going to last. Let's think about what we're instilling in the kids that they can take with them to be successful as they go on in their lives. So follow me there on Kids and Sports for that. We're going to talk about all sorts of different things on this show. Today I do have a softball person coming in. Most of my guests will be in the softball arena just because that's the arena I'm in right now and I know more. But I've had doctors on my show. We're going to spend some time. I want to get back into the concussion issue. That's a huge issue. I'll do some scorekeeping. If you got baseball or softball scorekeeping questions, I'm always up for that. Matter of fact, I posted on my Facebook there was a scorekeeping mistake in the Women's College World Series this weekend that I caught. And we'll see if anybody else caught that too. Maybe I'll have to come up with some sort of surprise for that. I also got a giveaway from a survey I sent out in my newsletter. I'll announce the winner for that later as well. So always stay tuned here. Anything, if you got an idea for me that you want to present, send me an email. Coach Mike at kidsandsports.com is my email address. Or you can call me at 877-554-5952 and leave a message there and say, hey, I got a guest for you. I've got a coach you just got to get in. I've had some pretty neat coaches and players on this show in the past that you wouldn't have heard about maybe otherwise. So I'll tell you some more about those a little bit later. But you never know where the story comes from. I just talked to a young lady yesterday that she's got a story. There's experiences that can help the rest of us out there do better. Sometimes we learn from the negative too. We learn what not to do. So let's keep those in mind. So if you know a coach, I was referred to a coach a few years ago, been coached at the same high school for 36 years. Now, how many coaches do that? And he had a really neat story, and it was just a blessing to have him on the show. So stick with me. We're going to be here every Tuesday from 9 to 11 a.m., and you never know what I'll bring in. I like to have a lot of fun here. I'm expecting a friend of mine to come and harass me a little bit this morning too, but that's okay. Just for those of you that I mentioned how long I've coached, Kidz in Sports was actually on another station for 5 years, and I took a hiatus the last 2 years. So now I had an opportunity with the Rant Radio Network here to come here and get the ball rolling again. No pun intended, but I definitely can. And what can we go? What new level can we go to in helping you? Maybe you want to get your kid a scholarship. You know what? We're going to talk about some of that in different segments too. I'll bring in some people that actually help players get the scholarships. I know some of them that charge a lot of money, and I know some of them that choose not to charge at all. They just want to help players. I've actually started a nonprofit to help kids with opportunities to get to the higher levels when they don't have the money to do so. Travel ball, club ball costs a lot of money. And there's a lot of people, especially the economy the way it's been, that they just can't afford it. Private lessons and all the other goodies that go with that. So I'll tell you some more about the National Youth Sports Association as well along the way. So stay tuned and think about what you can learn from my show. What can you contribute? Bring it on in. It's not about Coach Mike here. It's about how can we help the kids. Let's teach first, let's win later, and let's put it out there so that those parents that are new to sports don't get turned off by some of the stuff they might hear or see out there. We want them to be able to enjoy that sports experience, learn from the negative lessons that they run into, and enjoy the positive and see where they go from there. Again, we're right here at the Rant Radio Network. If you want to call the show with a question or comment, 866-959-RANT. We'll be glad to take your calls and see what we can bring it. Coach Mike here at Kidz in Sports. And forgive me if I am a little rusty today. It's 2 years I've been out of this. I have a lot of fun here, but we're going to have a lot more fun for the next 2 hours.
The Three Guys Rant
with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69 The Three Guys.
It's not The Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69 Three Guys. G-U-Y-S and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on rantradionetwork.com.
The Narc Radio Show is now airing on the Rant Radio Network. You've heard the Three Guys Rant refer to us as the Clam Chowder Power Hour. Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
We're the Brothers Bear Podcast Live, and I'm your host, Sanj, and I'm always joined by
Edgar, Carlos Mandrano, and this is a show where we talk about comics, movies, TV, video games, stand-up, music, and many more geeky things. Catch us live on Rant Radio Network on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's another commercial in the back.
Hi, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
And I'm Kelly V. Dolan.
And we are excited to announce our show Live with Aaron and Kelly is on Rant Radio Network. What do we talk about on our show, Kelly?
We talk about everything from entertainment to business and tech, and we have a few laughs in between.
That's right. Go check us out on rantradionetwork.com. That's rantradionetwork.com.
Check it out.
Oh, man, the coach is messed up already. That didn't take long. I got to order some new business cards already here. Disregard everything. Well, not everything I said. Disregard the phone number I told you. If you want to call the show, it's 866-969-RANT, and that's 726-8969. I've been telling everybody 959. Oh, my goodness. Way to go, Coach. I got to reorder these business cards now. I guess the coach is not, I have two rules that I always tell my girls every year when it comes to coaching my team. There's two rules. We keep it nice and simple. Rule number one, the coach is always right. And rule number two, if you see that the coach is wrong, go back to rule number one.
Nice.
You like that?
Yeah, that's
we got another voice in the studio. We got a guest here. I tell you what, everybody, let's welcome another talk show host from Rant Radio right here, and that is Alex Alanes. And Alex, you have a show here. Tell us about it.
Real Estate Rant. We're on the air Wednesday, 10 in the morning every Wednesday, and we'd like to talk about the adult sport, because we talk about kids in sports, right? We talk about the adult sport, real estate. That seems to be
that's very. I like that. Where'd my sound effect go? I clipped it twice. I wanted to make it sound cool. I'm still learning.
Actually, the engineer, I think, left his booth for a second there.
That's okay.
That's all right.
But you got it very right.
We'll put some applause on there for you, right?
You got it right, though. That is, the stock market, even more so probably than real estate, is an adult sport, wouldn't you say?
It's an adult sport, but it could get bloody.
I know it.
Well, regular sports get bloody, too. I watched Rocky last night, and... that was a little
when
gruesome.
that movie was first made?
The first Rocky?
The first Rocky.
Was it 1980?
It's quite a ways ago. I saw it I saw it the other day, and I looked at the title. I couldn't remember. Same thing with Top Gun. Remember how was that 82? I think it was, or
something like that. But doesn't that make us feel old? What is that? 30 some years?
I keep getting older, but I refuse to grow up.
No, I'm 17 at heart. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't feel 60. Ladies and gentlemen,
did you just say
the coach just turned 60 this year?
60 years old.
60.
You don't look a day over 59, Mike.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I thought next thing you're gonna tell me I got a face for radio, and that's why I'm in here. These guys got video, so I'm in trouble. Welcome back, and again, Coach Mike here with Kids in Sports. The website, www.kidsinsports.com. That's Kidz, and it's Nancy, sports.com. And again, to correct my previous error, if you'd like to call the show, the number is 855-969-RANT, and it's 969-7268. I was putting out 959 earlier. Get the mistakes out of the way. Get the errors out of the way in the first inning. You have time to recover. But way to start, Coach. If you'd like to sponsor my show, or get involved with the marketing group here, Monster Marketing Group is here, 877-554-5952. 5952, yes. And leave me a message there, and I'll be glad to get back to you. We're reaching 200,000 people on the network here. I'm excited about what these guys are doing here. And especially that's one reason I decided to take a shot at this and get Kids in Sports back on the air.
And I always say the towers of the Rant Radio Network look right behind us.
You go.
We're actually in one of these towers.
There you go. Oh, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be so cool?
It is. Well, it is cool.
It is cool.
Rant Radio Network. Also on the frame, Mike, I just wanted to mention the number is also 855-693-4897 to call into the show and visit us.
There you go.
Right on.
Hey, come in with your comments. Come in with your questions. I'm here to help your kids have a successful journey through youth sports. If you go to the Kids in Sports website, you can sign up for my weekly newsletter, and there I give you an update of what's coming up on the show. And I also generally have a little motivation, little tips out there. And again, teach first, win later. That comes first. If you don't teach first, you can't expect the kids to do. You know, I was at an ASA clinic a couple of years ago. I was coaching some rec ball. I was in between high school jobs, and I decided to volunteer for some rec time. And so all the coaches had to go to the ASA clinic, and they talked to coaches.
Now, Coach, can I ask a question real quick? Now, remember that some of us don't know anything about kids in sports. What is ASA?
ASA is the American softball, amateur softball, amateur softball. I think it's
Association?
American Softball Association.
American.
I'll have to look at asa.org or softball.org.
Is that on your website?
I haven't. No. Well, I've got. I do have a link there. Let me scroll down here.
And you also mentioned rec ball. Now, you told me what it was yesterday, but just for purposes of the show, rec ball means recreation.
Recreation.
Okay.
There's 3 levels in youth sports, so to speak. And when I say kids in sports here, I even go to the college level. There's still kids. If you want to see, some of my teams are the quietest ones. I got to get them. You're in the dugout, your team's you're down a run or two, and your batter's up there. You want to get excited. And the girls are on the bench, and they're not getting excited. The girls get, let's hear some noise here. The other night we were friendly with this travel ball team I'm helping out, and we were at a park. Artesia Park down here has got 4 fields, and I could hear the girls on the farthest field more than I could hear our girls.
With the chatter.
Right. But you watch a college game. Those girls are on the railings at the dugout. They are making noise that whole game. They are pumping up their players. I mean, it's.
Now, we don't see chatter in professional ball. I mean, is that even allowed?
Yeah, you got some, but well, I guess they're too above that. I have a lot of pet peeves with professional ball, especially baseball, and I love baseball partly because of the fantasy. But I watch a lot less pro stuff now than I used to. Fantasy sort of keeps me there. But 2 things in baseball, for example. Number 1 is after the game, the players shake hands with the guys on their own team, and not the other team.
In all of the kids in sports, it's always with the other team.
With youth teams, at the end of the game, you line up, you give the other team a cheer or whatever, and you shake their hands. Now, I do get it with the pros. I mean, they're out there. It's sort of, win or go home, and you're out there for a reason. So if you got a 3-game series or something like that, I sort of get it. Because, let's say one of your guys got hit by the pitcher and there was some bad blood. You don't want an opportunity for another fight, because that does happen in youth sport. You'll have times where there was some bad blood, and they'll take advantage.
Especially with the adults.
But at the end of the series, let's say you got a 3-game series. The last game, I would love to see if both teams shook their hands. You look at football, they do it. Football, what do they do after the game? That's what sport, unless you get into like hockey or rugby or something, what sport is more violent than football? Or there could be that bad blood, and yet after the game, you see players searching out other players on their team. Maybe they played in college, whatever. They shake their hands. The coach is going to shake their basketball. They do it. Baseball, we don't.
I'm a big soccer fan, and they actually trade jerseys.
Yeah.
That happens in jerseys. Now you were. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, they're cool. Bring
Coach
it in.
Mike.
They don't want to call in. You get to talk.
Okay, I see. I get it. So please call in at 855-693-4897 because my voice will start dropping after a while. But I did want to just bring up the fact, because you're using some acronyms that I don't understand, so I apologize for being the layman, right?
No problem.
I'll be the conscience for the show, right? So what I wanted to ask you is just those 2 things. You were commenting about the ASA and rec ball, right? And I interrupted with the question. I apologize.
I know that's no problem, because that was a good question. I got to remember that. I go to Toastmasters fairly regular, and that's something you got to remember when you're speaking to an audience. You may have, even though they're coming in with sports, if somebody like you say, you're a soccer fan, you may not know what ASA is. Like a softball person may not know what AYSO is, although I can't imagine that. Everybody knows what the cult,
Play soccer.
Play soccer.
That's the advertisement I always see.
But
right?
no, I went to a clinic a couple of years, an ASA clinic, and it is American Softball Association, or amateur softball. There's American Fast Pitch.
There it is on your
amateur
website.
Softball. I got all these links on my website. I just got to remember to get there. And a good friend of mine, Deb Hartwig, who is an excellent coach. She played at Cal State Fullerton, and just an awesome person. She reminded all the coaches there, like we'll tell the kids, raise your hands or throw your arms out or whatever the comments, which would be acronyms in a way, would be, we tell the girls, oh, see it big. What does that mean to them?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That 9-year-old might not see it. Well, the idea is to watch the ball all the way to the bat. And if you're focus drive, you're not being distracted. Hopefully, as the ball's coming closer, just like in art, it gets bigger. The better you see the ball, the better chance you have of hitting the ball. But Deb brought up an next point. We say these things to these kids that some of them may not, what are you talking about? And they'll nod their head and say, yeah, coach, I'll do it. But they don't know what you're talking about.
So this is where the adults have the responsibility to explain these things to the kids.
Teach first, win later.
Exactly.
The other pet peeve, you brought up an excellent point of that. The other pet peeve I have in baseball is these pros now that are constantly arguing balls and strikes with the umpires. That just is starting to drive. Even guys, Derek Jeter's a player that I admire greatly. I think he's a lot of class, that guy. But these guys that want to argue the strikes, and we tell our children all the way up, that's one thing you don't do as a coach or a player. If I go out and argue balls and strikes, I'm going to find myself in the parking lot real quick.
Yeah, you kicked off the field.
I think there was a guy named Chuck, and I keep forgetting his last name, was the head of the umpires at Downey Ponytail years ago. And when I first got my first high school job at Brethren Christian, and he said, Coach, the one thing you need to remember, never go to the umpire never pull out your rule book. You never pull out the rule book unless the umpire says, let's check it out. You never, because you're showing up the umpire.
You know what I think part of the problem is, Coach Mike, with the calls, with the umpire calls. I think that we're so used to watching a game on TV and watching the replays, right, that it makes us want that when we're at a live game.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you say?
Oh, that's one of the problems I do have with instant replay. I don't want instant replay for everything. I don't mind it for that home run ball that's 350 feet away, where especially some of these fields where there's a line, it's sort of hard to tell exactly where the edge is because the umpires don't have time to get all the way out. I don't mind it. I don't want it for balls and strikes. I mean, and the umpires are human, and believe me, high school softball, high school baseball, you're going to see umpires that have terrible strike zones sometimes. They're doing the best they can. And what are you going to stop the game constantly for instant replay? Was that a ball? Why have an umpire back there at all then? So I don't want to see it for that.
The way that I see the umps is they're right there. They're standing right in front of the play. They have the best vantage point to make that call.
That's right. That's why some of these guys do it.
Yeah, and when we're sitting in the thing, how can we call and make that call?
That's part of the fun, I guess. Coach Mike here, Kids in Sports, and the Rant Radio Network will be back after these messages.
Experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
Ticketsurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. Ticketsurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199. This segment sponsored by Mucho Macho Michelada. Whenever you got to spice up your beer, Mucho Macho Michelada is for you. Only real men.
Did you say mucho macho?
Mucho Macho, baby, where the real men come to drink.
Hey, I don't always drink michelada, but when I do, I drink mucho macho michelada.
If only Arvin could be a little more mucho macho.
Will it put some hair on my chest?
No, but te quema entrando y saliendo.
Welcome to the Monster Marketing Group, your one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. Anything you need to make marketing and advertising campaigns stand out, we're your people. Concepts, design, production, social media, anything that you can dream up, we're going to make happen for you. And we can do it in a very quick turnaround. Please give us a call at 888-49-MONSTER.
Hi, I'm Eddie Sell, creator of Firehouse Chefs, and you're listening to FHC Radio. Join us every Wednesday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. and join our community of firefighters, chefs, food industry professionals, celebrities, and more as we take you on a journey that melds our professional passions into a fun, insightful, and engaging show. Welcome to FHC Radio on the Rant Radio Network.
It is so hard to believe that the first half hour is gone already. Coach Mike here with Kidz and Sports, Teach First, Win Later. I've got my friend Alex Alanas here who has his own show, Real Estate Rant, and he likes Kidz Sports too and contributing to the show. And Alex may even join me on a regular basis. I like it because he's just like you calling in. Don't be afraid to call in if you got a youth sports question for me. 866-969-RANT. Got to redo my business. I can't believe I did that. I cannot believe I did.
You know, everybody I know has done that at some time or another.
You know, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be mistakes. In youth sports, the lesson I've learned over the years, number one, we do not punish errors. We do not want to punish errors. And you can deflate the kids and their egos. You don't want a kid with this huge ego that is a smart mouth that doesn't want to do what the coach says, but you want the kids to be confident. And if they're not confident, they're not going to play well. Matter of fact, my guest coming later today, Cindy Bristow, shared something with me a couple of years ago when she was on the show that was so good and really woke me up as a male coach in a female sport. We had a situation. I was coaching down in Newport Harbor, and the leadership and the junior, senior leadership and the Frosh Soft girls were not clicking well together. There was a miscommunication, so to speak. And one day we were over at Foothill getting ready for a game, and a couple of the girls, they were taking their time and batting, a couple of sophomores, and so the captains told them to hurry up, and they turned around and told the captain to shut up. And
just
so
outright, shut up.
Said, no, shut up, leave us alone, whatever.
For everybody to hear, everybody heard this.
The group around him here. Now, it wasn't loud. It wasn't a loud deal. But now, tell me, if you were that captain and a player told you to shut up, another guy you're warming up for a game, what would you do?
What would I do? Wow, that's a tough one. I probably just wouldn't listen to him.
Would you say something back to him?
No, because I don't want to lower myself to that level.
Well, you say that now. You're an old guy now.
That's just, well, okay.
What would you have done when you were the teenage
I am old.
You?
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, not as old as me. I know. The teenage you, what would you have done?
I'd probably tell him no.
Okay.
No, I ain't going to shut up. I'm going to keep saying what I'm saying, and you shut up.
The girls came to me and my assistant coach. They told me to shut up. And these are high school girls, right? And he laughed. He said, if that was some guys, they'd either throw a few punches and, or they'd tell them, no, you shut up.
Yeah.
It
gets a back and forth, right?
A little back and forth, and then shake hands, whatever. But anyway, so that was something we had to deal with on that level. And so we had to say, hey, girls, we got to have some continuity here, but we can't do it. But there's the difference. So anyway, I was talking to Cindy about it when she was on the show one time, and she said, Mike, here is a huge difference that will help you. And I've had comments where I had a dad told me one year, best way to handle girls, treat them like men. And when it comes to practice, there's a certain truth to that. But you can't, obviously you can't do it 100%. It doesn't work that way. I had same dad told me one year, because I would be I want to motivate the kids. I want to get them all fired up. I want to tell them all these cool. He said, Coach, shut up and hit more balls. Something as simple as that. Cindy tells me when I told her about this story, and she says, Mike, it's very simple. Guys need to perform well to feel good about themselves. Girls need to feel good about themselves to perform well.
Right on. I can say, yeah. Mike, if you remember, yesterday, our conversation, the reason why you asked me to come on the show is because I have 5 girls.
That's right.
And one of the things that I like to teach them is exactly that. I like to I consider them to be little adults, and that's the way that I treat them.
How much leeway do you give your daughters in making decisions about things they're doing? Not obviously, there's certain things that I believe parents should until they're 18. There's you have no choice here.
Don't get me started on that.
Is there an area where you allow them to make certain decisions?
I like to allow them to make decisions for everything.
Okay.
Because I believe that creates it allows them to be responsible for themselves. You know, me and my wife, we have conversations about this often because she disagrees with that. She thinks that she should be choosing what they're going to wear, how they're going to wear their hair, what they're going to do. You know, and I'm like, wait, give them some space. You know, they're going to make mistakes, and that's really the only way they're going to learn. That's the way that I learned. Maybe
that's a primary lesson from sports. You learn more from making a mistake than you do when you succeed.
Yeah, I mean, so that's my philosophy behind it. That's the way that I like to teach my girls, and I really do feel that they respect me more because of it.
Good. I try to say what I did. I only had one
daughter.
One daughter, and I won't say she was troublified. She was a good kid. We're really proud of her. She graduated from Long Beach City College last year before. Well, it's hard to, it goes by sequence last year, and got her AA degree, and she's actually working at a daycare center, which is what she wanted to do.
Wow.
So I would allow her to make certain decisions, but there was boundaries.
That's hard work.
It is, and she enjoys it. She enjoys it. So the biggest example I use is when we would try out for a travel team. We got out of rec ball and went to travel ball. She would go try out for a team. I would meet the coach, or my wife would meet the coach, usually me, and I'd watch how they do their practices and everything. So yeah, this is the coach seems like he. And I'm not going to sit there and pick everything he does, whether he knows what he's doing or not, but because it's his team, it's his job. But it was always Jessica had the final say, do I want to join that team or not?
Now, you mentioned rec ball and travel ball.
Yes.
Again, you're speaking to a layman here. What is the difference between the two?
Rec ball, the easiest way to describe it is how the rules are. Rec ball, recreation, that's like your Downey Ponytail. Almost every city, La Mirada, Los Alamitos, every city has a rec ball program in most sports. A lot of baseball times, softball. Some cities themselves, now usually, like for example, Downey Ponytail is a separate organization. It's not run by the city. The city might have its own little program that it does. My daughter's first taste of youth sports was 4 years old. They had a friend of ours on our slow pitch team was coaching this kickball team. They had a kickball team. They put about 15 kids out in the field, and it was pretty cool. We had a lot of fun with it.
Kickball. I don't think I've heard that since elementary school.
I love kickball, man. I loved to play kickball when I was a kid.
Some of those sports, they should be professional, some of those.
Well, this thing, you don't need as big of a field. You don't need 400 feet.
It's kind of like dodgeball or kickball or tetherball, right?
Tetherball, whatever. So, I mean, that was her first experience. But now, so rec ball is all the kids, this is the developmental stages. In other words, the main thing here, and this is where I see some coaches, with all good intention. I'm not questioning their, but they're out there. They want to win that championship, and they forget you got to teach first. So these kids, they not only don't know some of the phrases and the acronyms or whatever, they don't know how to perform a certain skill. You're there to teach them.
Now you mentioned some of the rules, because because you mentioned rec ball. I know that some of the rules are different. Some of the rec ball rules means is that everyone has to play on the team.
That's right.
Whereas a travel ball team, there might be somebody sitting on the bench.
You can, there was one team my daughter was on that she sat on the bench almost all the time. And there were times where we didn't think it was right, and it got to the point where this particular coach would, and some coaches will do, they get certain players they like, and they're just going to ride those players and go with that. And the thing is, you want to ask, what's going to happen if that player gets hurt? What are you going to do? So I think there's times where you should be using your bench players. I never would go to coach and say, hey, my daughter's got to be your number one pitcher or we're out of here. I would never do that. But there were times where in this particular case, the assistant coach who we'd known from a previous team and really liked Mike, he said, Mike, go ahead and I would leave this team because they're not going to use Jessica. They're not going to use her. And they were getting ready to travel to Wisconsin, and that was going to cost a couple $1,000s, which I didn't have. So, and the coach said, well, she's on the team. I said, yeah, well, we're going to spend $2,000 for her to go sit on the bench. At least there was another team where when we first got into travel ball, and travel ball is the advanced level. Like you say, you're not necessarily going to play. Now, I think the best coaches make sure there's in the travel ball arena, at least in softball, I think volleyball does similar. Baseball does similar. You have contests that are called friendlies, which is just you're playing other teams. And a lot of times there'll be open substitution, so you don't need a lineup. They don't care if you want to put a runner in that you don't have to. The rules sort of go out the window on some of the strategy rules. And that's a time where you give your kids the opportunity to show who's going to be my best nine. When it comes to the tournament, the best nine are the ones going to play. Now, pool play, if there's 3 pool games, I might want to make sure all the kids get to play too.
You lost me there again. What's
okay.
What's
pool play?
What's
okay,
pool
in a tournament, and sort of, I wish we had a big chalkboard here. Okay.
Teacher Mike.
But in pool play, you'll have teams divided. Let's say there's 16 teams in the tournament, and it might be a double elimination. Might be most tournaments are single elimination because of time frame. In other words, you lose one, you're done once you get to the elimination round.
Now, when you say there's 16 teams, these are travel ball teams.
These, let's say, 16 travel teams. Okay, it's similar to college tournament, same thing, except College World Series you got double elimination.
Well, you have to remember, I'm a layman now.
That's right.
I don't, I played soccer, so
that's the sport where you don't have to score to play to finish the game, right?
No, you need to score.
Oh, they got rid of the 0-0 stuff.
It's still there, but I know what you're talking about. You're taking a stab at it.
I remember there was another famous talk show host that used to say soccer was not a sport because how can you have a sport end up with a 0-0 score?
Well, I was kind of joking around because not to change the subject, but Mexico just had their Super Bowl of soccer just a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was Cruz Azul against America, and I'll tell you what. I watch soccer games on the English channel, and you have the English announcers, and then you have the Mexican channel with the Mexican announcers. And I'll be honest with you, I would much rather watch the game listening to that announcer because he makes the game. He really does.
Go!
Well, not just that. Este equipo de América tiene la pasta para el final.
Yeah, there's
more
passion.
Just like that. Yeah, and he goes nuts.
And soccer needs it, I guess, to make sure they. No, I'm just.
Well, no. So you mentioned a pool.
Yeah, the pool play. In other words, you might play 3 games. You'll be at a pool like, let's say 16 teams. There might be 4 pools of 4 teams. So you might play 3 games. You'll play the other 3 teams in your pool, and that will determine the seeding for the elimination rounds. So if you win your pool, then you might get a bye. Depends how many teams are in the overall tournament. You might not have to play the first round. Or you're going to play a weak team the first round. Like number 1 seed will play the number 4 seed.
Now, so, I've been to some of these elimination games on I've been to Vegas. What have you?
Okay. We'll talk some more about eliminations and pools and tournaments and all the good stuff. And if you got a question too, feel free to give us a call. 866-969-RANT. Coach Mike will be right back with you in a minute.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
We're the Brothers Bear Podcast Live, and I'm your host, Sanch, and I'm always joined by
Edgar, Carlos Mandrano, and this is a show where we talk about comics, movies, TV, video games, stand-up, music, and many more geeky things. Catch us live on Rant Radio Network on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's another commercial in the bag.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Laza with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
DM Narc Radio Show is now airing on the Rant Radio Network. You've heard the three guys Rant refer to us as the Clam Chowder Power Hour. Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
Can you hear me okay too?
Oh, yeah, we're good. We are ready to rock and roll in audio and video. Thank goodness I don't have a face for radio. No laughing in the booth over there either. Gee, many Christmas. Coach Mike here, Kids in Sports at the Rant Radio Network. That's www.rantradionetwork.com. Check out my website, www.kidsinsports.com. That's Kidz, and as a Nancy Sports.com. If you sign up for my weekly newsletter, you get a free copy of my 10 Commandments of Teaching Sports to Kids. And I didn't bring those today, but you know what? Next week I'm going to bring those, and so I can share it. I have developed my 10 Commandments, so to speak. There's certain rules we got to follow that even the newest coach, if you follow these guidelines, will help you do a better job. And what we see a lot of times, we were talking about pool play before, and we'll get back to that, but a lot of times we see, a lot of in rec ball and recreation leagues, most of your coaches are volunteers. They don't get paid. They're all volunteers, but you'll have some coaches that have been there for a while, and maybe like you had 5 kids, so they were there for all 5 kids coming through.
I have 6. I mentioned I have 5 girls.
5 girls.
Yeah.
Now, the boy can't come through that league, but you might be there for quite a while all 5 girls go through. You got other ones, of course, half your coaches probably are first-timers, second-time, or maybe they helped out before, and they're teaching the kids with guys. Even in the softball world, they remember what they did in baseball. And, yes, there's a lot of similarities. You can still rely on some of that. But they also remember what they did how long ago.
Yeah, there's no formal training.
It is available if you want to, okay? And I admire those leagues. Some leagues actually will have, Coach, I've been asked to come out to leagues before to do clinics. And I'll go out and show a league, here's some drills to do. You can find all sorts of drills. There's a couple websites out there. There's eTeams, etamz.com. There's heybucket.com. Heybucket is primarily a softball website. eTeams covers multiple sports. But there's a number of sites, and my guest today, Cindy Bristol, her site is softballexcellence.com. She has drills on her website. And there's all sorts of play. If you want to learn, you can get drills. I think ASA even has some sections of their website. And there's also some of the organizations have coaching certification programs. CIF, which is the governing body for high school sports, now requires us as coaches to take this online certification program.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it is very basic stuff. If you've been doing it for a while, you should know it. But it's easy to be caught off guard. I mean, there's certain things that we take for granted that aren't the same way. You can't beat the kids up. That's like some coaches used to, but
I hope not.
Well, that's more of a college thing. I joke about that. So real quickly, back to the pool play side. We'll move on with it, but a big tournament. And let's say in the softball world, ASA, for example, every year they have their national tournament. and then they have 4 other national tournaments that are they're more of a regional in a way. There's the big national tournament, that's the big show, and then there's Western Nationals, Northern Nationals, Eastern Nationals, Southern Nationals. So if you don't qualify to go to the big one, you can go to, as long as you played in your state tournament, you qualify to go to one of the regional ones. And so there could be 100 teams there. Matter of fact, every now and then, a lot of times when the week of the Nationals, I'll try and get some of the tournament organizers on for each different city, and I'll get them on the air just for a quick interview. And I remember a few years ago, I think it was up Seattle, and I had the guy there, it was it 16 or 18s, and they had 139 teams in that tournament. 139 teams.
Now, this sounds all very serious. I mean, the people take this very seriously. Is there a governing body that, because you said national, is there a governing body that controls all of this?
Well, here's the fun part. With that tournament, with those three, ASA is considered the primary governing body of softball. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, you
they're tied into Team USA. If you're going to be on the hope to be soon Olympic teams again, since we sort of got I don't say we got shafted when they took the softball and baseball out of the Olympics, but that's what Team USA is tied up together as ASA and softball. And here's my section of governing bodies. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so to speak, governing bodies, or 10 organizations that hold leagues and tournaments or hold some sort of play. Softball here, Amateur Softball Association, again, the main American Fast Pitch Association. You have Bobby Sox Softball. You have International Softball Federation. The ISF is the pro, and I think it used to be called the Softball Congress, International Softball Congress years ago. Little League Baseball and softball. People don't realize that Little League Baseball also has softball. National Softball Association, NSA. You have Pony Baseball and softball. You have Triple Crown Sports. You have USA, Team USA, again, that is connected with ASA softball. And then the USSSA, United States Specialty Sports. So there you could get involved in a different tournament with almost every one of those organizations except Team USA and the ISF.
On a national level?
On a USSSA has a national tournament, or they'll have certain regional tournaments that they'll hold. AFA has, I believe they have their tournament is, I think, Oklahoma. I think they have it pretty much Oklahoma every year. ASA, the gold tournament, is at Oklahoma City where they have the college tournament. NSA, we had a chance one year. One of my daughter's first teams, 12 and under, we qualified for the NSA World Series. It was going to be in Beaumont, Texas in August. We chose to go to the Triple Crown Hall of Fame tournament in Albuquerque because we thought it'll be a lot cooler and nicer weather. And that weekend, Albuquerque had a heat wave come through, so it was like 100 degrees in Albuquerque. But it was still not as humid. So, but yes, they all have tournaments. They all have. Triple Crown actually has franchises where you'll have a territory, and so it's up to you to organize your tournaments that you want to do in that territory. So that's an interesting way to look at it. I won't say it's a complaint that I have about it, but when I look at this, and when we were at a USSSA tournament in Florida, they called it a World Series, but it was sort of a different thing. And they only had I think 8 or 9 teams show up. I think if I was them, I would have gone out and grabbed a bunch of local teams and say, hey, get here so we have a bigger tournament. But I asked one of the organizers, and I said, why do we have all these there? So, well, we meet, we have a following that likes us more than ASA. There's another one now that I should add. Let me, if I have them down below.
Well, if I may, Mike.
Yes.
If I could just relate that I don't want to throw real estate on there right away, but is there profit involved in all of this? I mean, it looks like there's a lot of associations in real estate that have been battling for power.
There's always money involved somewhere, okay? Now,
because that's what I'm seeing here. When you mention all these different associations, I'm looking at all these associations battling for power on a national level.
Yeah, I don't know that they really battle so much. I think most people accept the hierarchies of, if you asked me now, there's another one that I actually need to add to my website, and I thought I had done so, and maybe I did earlier and forgot to change it, but there's the Premier Fast Pitch Softball, which was a group of coaches that had some disagreements with ASA over how they were doing certain the top level tournaments, and so they broke off and did their own league. And I guess they're doing okay on that regard, but yeah, there's always going to be that question of money. Not so much, I don't know so much the organization. Obviously, if you go to any of their websites, there's places to donate, places to buy stuff. There's money that drives them. I mean, they got to raise money. They're all nonprofits. They've got to raise the money to put on these shows and what they do. But where the complaint on the money side would come in, and Cindy could probably comment on that later when we get her on the show, is individual coaches that, want to do this like a full-time job to make the money. And I don't have a problem with I used to take my daughter to a lady named Caroline Cardosa. Her maiden name was Carrie Dolan. She pitched for Los Alamitos High, and she pitched for Arizona. I think she won 2 College World Series. She knew her stuff. She was a good coach. At one time, she told me she would had like 60 lessons a week going, and she gets $25 a lesson.
Wow!
So that's $1,500 a week.
That's a pretty good salary.
That's not too shabby. Well, then that's cash.
Tax-free?
Well, I won't comment on what, but I've heard stories. None that I can go back. I'm not going to ever go back and call names out because you never know what you're getting in truth. But I've known stories that are pretty reliable or fairly reliable stories where a coach went to a high school or the high school wanted this coach to come in, and the coach said, "I want $25,000 if you want me to coach her."
Wow.
Okay. I get just over $3,000. So the normal stipend for a head varsity coach for most high schools is between $3,000 and $4,000. Okay.
Now that doesn't seem very fair, Mike.
$10 an hour. No, I've started this year. I was actually sort of keeping my time to see, so I'm going to work it out. It's not so bad.
Well, it's because earlier you mentioned a certification.
Yeah.
And you have to get certified. You have to know the game. You have to have the wisdom and the know-how, right. the philosophy, the strategy. You have to know all that stuff. And yet, if you're playing, what it sounds like, if you're playing travel ball, you're making some money, and you're making a profit on it. Whereas, if it's a requirement, like in high school, you're not making anything. It doesn't seem fair.
Well, there can be. When you figure I only have to be there a couple hours a day, to do that, then that is how that issue works as far as that goes. But there are travel teams where the coaches obviously are making a lot of money. So we get that rocking and rolling. And some of them, where the conflict could come in, and we're almost at a break time, but where the conflict come in is if you have a travel coach, and now with some of the rules, a lot of times you'll have a travel coach doing a high school team. And they're saying you have to go play for my travel team if you want to be on the high school team. Now you got a conflict. And I encourage my girls to do travel ball. I'm not going to tell them they have to do travel ball. It's up to them and how good do you want to be. So, Coach Mike here, Kids in Sports. My guest with me, Alex Alanis, another talk show host here at the Rant Radio Network. We're going to take a little break and then we'll be back.
Segment sponsored by Mucho Macho Michelada. Whenever you got to spice up your beer, Mucho Macho Michelada is for you. Only real men.
Did you say mucho macho?
Mucho Macho, baby, where the real men come to drink.
Hey, I don't always drink michelada, but when I do, I drink Mucho Macho Michelada.
If only Arvin could be a little more Mucho Macho.
Will it put some hair on my chest?
No, but te quema entrando y saliendo.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
Are you watching the game at home? Why? Come watch it at Mambo Grill, the hottest spot in Downey. You'll have good food, drinks, and a great time at a low price. We have the coldest beer in our sports bar, where you can enjoy the game on any of our huge flat screen TVs. And when your home team wins, you get 25% off anything in Mambo Grill. We're on Downey Avenue, 1 block north of Firestone, or visit us on the web. Mambo Grill, love at first bite.
We are the Three Guys Rant
with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69 The Three Guys.
It's not the Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen, then you never know what's going to happen.
855-69-3-GUYS, G-U-Y-S, and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
Theticketsurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. Theticketsurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199.
Uh-oh, am I not there yet? All right. Forgive me, folks, I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple of years since I've been here behind the golden microphones. Coach Mike here, Kids in Sports on the Rant Radio Network.
At the towers.
At the towers of the Rant Radio. Sitting next to me is Alex. How do you pronounce it? I speak English.
Go ahead and say it, Mike. It's
I said Alana's. You said
Alanis.
Alanis. Okay. Alex is another host here, but he's got 5 daughters, and so I'm trying to let him know they should be playing softball, not soccer, as they grow up. But what can I say?
Well, my daughters are not in sports for different reasons.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But anyway, now we are the second hour of the show. My website, www.kidsinsports.com, K-I-D-Z, N as in Nancy, sports.com. And the neater part, we're going to tell you about another website here. It's softballexcellence.com. And my guest for the second hour of the show is one of my favorite guests that comes on every now and then, and that's Cindy Bristow from Softball Excellence. Now, do I have Cindy? I'm getting. I gotta pull this off.
Just pick up the line there.
Okay, Cindy, are you there? Let me push the button.
No.
Nope.
Are you there, Cindy?
I'm here.
There you are. I got a lot.
I'm here. I'm hiding.
I got a lot of new hardware here, Cindy. So I'm sort of, the rust from 2 years, and now I got new hardware I got to learn.
You got to get used to it. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think right away. I said I got to get Cindy for the first show and bring it back with a bang.
Hi,
there
Cindy.
you go.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are things?
Things are great.
Alex has 5 daughters, Cindy. He's in a networking group with me, and he also has a show here also on real estate, and I'm trying to direct him so he can lead his daughters to the proper sport. You know what I mean?
Right, to the promised land, you mean.
To the
Coach
promise.
Mike, that's what you mean.
Is there any promised land left back there, or did it all get blown away?
Well, since Thursday night in the storm shelters, which was just kind of a bonding experience. Fortunately, we were all safe, and the games have been amazing.
Oh, unbelievable. That's
amazing.
For those of you that are just tuned in, Cindy Bristow, my guest, her website, Softball Excellence, is not only a former coach and player, but also a commentator on ESPN, and she was actually in Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series, and they actually had to delay or postpone all the Friday games because of tornadoes that hit that area. So what was the attitude among all the players? I mean, was there any thought they might have to cancel the thing, or?
No, not that they would cancel the whole thing. And, you know how players are. They're more minute to minute. It's the coaches strategizing long term. How's this going to impact everything? So it's such a common occurrence in that part of the world that they really do stay calm during it and lead you through it. It's the rest of us that are from out of state that like freak out. So they expect that. They calm us down. They lead us to safety, tell us we'll be fine, and we just hang in with a whole bunch of people we've never met, and we're all scared out of our minds and open the door, and somehow we're all safe.
The ultimate
Fortunately.
bonding. The ultimate bonding session.
Yes, exactly. But the players, you know, to them, it's just another cool thing that happened. There's probably a bunch of them that are scared, but they act like they're not.
Oh, Cindy, let me tell you, one year I was down in New Orleans for when I had my mailbox business, and we were at a hotel that was on the path of the streetcar named Desire, and everything was real old down there, and we're sitting in one of the seminars one day, and the whole building starts shaking. You knew who the California people were real quick because we all went under desks.
Right, there you go.
It was just a streetcar going by. So
Oh,
that was now how
Oh, that's funny.
how close did the tornadoes get to the stadium?
they were in relative, let me think, they were below I-4, probably 8, not 10 miles, which may not seem like a lot, but unlike a hurricane that we get out here in the Florida part of the world, a tornado is a very specific thing. And so 8 or 10 miles away is a long way away as long as it doesn't change directions. And unlike out there in California, Mike, you can't predict earthquakes. And these tornadoes are so predicted. Their weather service out there is so awesome. They can tell you at 12:57 it's going to be at this block of this street.
Oh, wow.
Cover.
Oh, wow.
At 12:59 it's going to be here. At 1:03 it's going to be here. So you have some really detailed warning that where it's going to go and take shelter.
That is amazing. I remember I was at a sales conference in Edina, Minnesota one time, and that did freak me. I don't freak out too easily, but it was sort of weird seeing these warnings coming across the TV screen. This county, that county, watch out for tornado warnings.
Yeah, it is unsettling. I mean, you're lying if you say you're not a little freaked out by it. But the grounds crew was amazing. They covered the field, and the next day they played like nothing. They had the 11 o'clock game, boom, played it right on schedule and just kept on going. So they really do an incredible job.
I was a victim of the Women's College World Series this year, Cindy. As you know, both of I'm sure your heart a little bit was broken Saturday night. But it made it even worse that I had to wait till almost midnight for it to be broken after that 15-inning game.
That was tough. And it was like last night's game. The battles are so epic. You don't want anybody to lose. You maybe go in with a favorite, and by the time these players play like they're playing, you're so emotionally attached to both sides. You don't want anybody to lose.
Now, I was out of action last night. Who did finally win?
Oklahoma finally won. I think it went 11 innings.
Oh, wow.
And it was 0-0. And then all of a sudden, Tennessee scores 3 runs. So you just think, wow, that's it. And Oklahoma got an out, and then they kind of scrap a hit, and then they knock in the run, and then they're down to 2 outs. Lauren Chamberlain up with the last strike. Bam, walk-off 2-run home run. They win.
You know, everything I'm hearing right now, it makes for a good movie.
Oh, it was. You should have seen.
It's just like that. It's so dramatic and so many good plays, not boring, and it was real. And they're back at it tonight.
That's right. They got to win one more. If Tennessee wins, then another game.
If Oklahoma wins, it's done. It's 2 out of 3, the championship, instead of a 1-game winner takes all.
I'm glad they went. I sort of like the format they've got on it now. That 15-inning game, I watched so much. I turned it on. What time? Let's see. ASU was supposed to play at 6:30 our time. I think it was, and so I turned on about 5 o'clock, and they were still in, 4th or 5th inning, whatever it was, and that thing just kept. Nebraska kept coming back. I think they actually got ripped on one call a little bit where they could have won it, but that was such an amazing game.
It was. And Nebraska, I don't know, they're so young. These players are so good, so young, Mike. The Nebraska pitcher and catcher are freshmen, and their shortstop and second baseman are freshmen. It's just amazing that an athlete that young can play so maturely in such a huge pressure situation.
And where did Nebraska come from? That's a football school.
Right. Who allowed them to play softball?
Well, this is what's going on in the background. I mean, it always has been.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. Look at, Cindy, I remember when I first started coaching, I don't remember if it was the Stovall's Clinic here or the All Sports Clinic, but Ralph Weekly was actually the speaker, and it was right when he was leaving ASA to go, and he said Tennessee was paying him and his wife a huge amount of money to go to Tennessee, and he had one primary directive, and that was to make Tennessee equal to the California schools.
Well, you know what? My mom, I grew up out in California, as you know, and my mom, big diehard Pac-12 fan. A little bummed out there aren't any Pac-12 teams still in, so all she can cling to is how many California kids all these other non-Pac-12 teams have.
There you go.
Right? And so, and there are, so they said, I think they released it, 35% of the players are playing on non-Pac-12 teams. And my mom said, how come? She sees them as like deserters. And I said, well, Mom, there's so many more, you can play more. Maybe I get to start. Maybe I get to play my position. But I'm playing in these amazing facilities, huge stadiums that these kids nowadays want to play in. And I think that's where the Pac-12 has kind of slipped. They haven't kept their stadiums and their facilities, at least in the softball side, updated with those of the SEC. All across the board, male or female, doesn't matter what sport. If you go to an SEC school, all of their sports facilities are top-notch, and kids love that.
Well,
and they're on TV all the time.
Well, yeah, I wanted to complain about that. And when I turn on my cable out here, my Fios, and I can't see a Pac-12 game, but there's SEC games all the time, I wanted to call Verizon up and scream at them.
Yeah. Well, now with the Pac-12 network, that's going to change, although it doesn't bring it to a national audience. It brings it to the regional audience or anybody willing to buy that network package.
Willing to buy. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. but that, and that again, that not only free ESPN package, free to the viewer, if you want to say free, that the SEC is getting. Not only that, but it's the national exposure. That is a reason for recruits to go there, and it's not like the SEC needs any more advantage in recruiting.
Yes.
Just because I don't know what networks or what channels they're on, can we mention those channels just so the listeners can know where to go to?
Well, it's your cable, so it could be different depending on your cable system.
What about the network?
Most of it's ESPN, isn't it, Cindy?
Right. Tonight it's going to be on, I believe it's ESPN or ESPN2. The SEC plays on ESPN. University of Texas has its own network. If you happen to dig the Longhorns, that's the Longhorn Network. And then the Pac-12 has what's the Pac-12 network, and it'll let you see all kinds of sports played within the Pac-12. So what the actual channels are depends on your particular cable provider or satellite provider.
Right before you came on, Alex and I were talking about money and how that flows through the coaching ranks and I guess also through the TV ranks now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, with the money comes a short lifespan. I might be making as a coach 8 times more than I was making, but I have 10 times more demands on me for my time and more expectations for my results.
There you go. We got to take a obscene profit timeout break, they call it, I think. Coach Mike here, Kids in Sports, with my guest Cindy Bristol. We'll be back after these messages.
are the Three Guys Rant
with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69 The Three Guys.
It's not the Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen, then you never know what's going to happen.
855-69 3 Guys, G-U-Y-S, and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
DM Narc Radio Show is now airing on the Rant Radio Network. You've heard the Three Guys Rant refer to us as the Clam Chowder Power Hour. Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
We're the Brothers Bear Podcast Live, and I'm your host, Sanch, and I'm always joined by
Edgar, Carlos Mandrano, and this is a show where we talk about comics, movies, TV, video games, stand-up, music, and many more geeky things. Catch us live on Rant Radio Network on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's another commercial in the back.
Hi, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
And I'm Kelly V. Dolan.
And we are excited to announce our show Live with Aaron and Kelly is on Rant Radio Network. What do we talk about on our show, Kelly?
We talk about everything from entertainment to business and tech, and we have a few laughs in between.
That's right. Go check us out on rantradionetwork.com. That's rantradionetwork.com.
Check it out.
Who does your bumper music, Mike?
My good friend Dan Malone, our music leader at our church, created that just for me.
Oh, right on.
Isn't that cool?
It sounds professional.
Coach Mike here, Kids and Sports on the Rant Radio Network. And for those of you that heard me maybe mess up earlier, 855-969-RANT is the call-in number. My guest from the website Softball Excellence, the former coach, former player, and commentator for ESPN, Cindy Bristow. And Cindy, we actually do have a call-in. I'm going to try to do this. If I mess this up, can you call me right back?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to try. I got to try and do this right. Okay, put it on hold. Put it on hold, and I hit conference. Okay, and we have Alonzo on line 2. Do we get it?
Are you there, Alonzo?
Is Cindy still there? Do I got to take off the hold?
Oh, possibly.
Let me go back and make sure I got Cindy. Okay.
I'm here. No Alonzo.
No Alonzo. Okay, we didn't.
Let's try this.
Try
again.
one more time. You got to hit hold. Alonzo, are you there? Okay. Oh, now you just lost Cindy.
Oh, we lost Cindy.
Hello, Alonzo.
Hey, Coach. How's it going, Coach?
Pretty good. What can I do for you?
I'm seeing your show live. The only thing I want to comment, you have the wrong shirt on. You should have an SD shirt.
Oh!
What's going on?
There we got Cindy. Let me see if we can get Cindy back on. Okay, they're going to fix it up over there. Well, you know, I'll tell you, there's a reason I got this shirt on. I actually usually wear another maroon and gold shirt known as ASU. That until Pete Carroll came along, we would beat them regularly. All right.
Let's not forget we're in Southern California, Coach.
All right. Let's see if we get Cindy.
I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. I'm enjoying your show.
Thank you.
Want to say what's up, and just keep it up, man. It's a good show.
Alonzo, hold on just for 1 second.
Alonzo.
Hold on just 1 second.
Okay. Now, Alonzo, I need you. Is Cindy there?
I'm here.
Okay, Cindy, I got this other caller calling in on line 1, and she's there. Are we there?
I'm here.
We got Cindy. Alonzo, are you still there? Okay, Alonzo's not there. What about line 1? Help me out here, Phil. I got Cindy on 3. Okay. Conference. And I want line 1. Oh, you lost Cindy
we just
again.
Lost Cindy, yeah.
We got to quit losing Cindy.
Alonso, you there?
Do we have anybody? That's Susie. Yeah, I want.
Looks like we're going to have to do one at a
who
time.
do I got here?
You got me.
I got you. So I got Cindy back on 1.
Nope. Susie.
Oh, good. Hold on.
Who's on second?
Let me get this right. So bear with me. So we're having trying to figure out this phone system. So
No problem.
Let me try and get this.
All right.
Oh, now I got Cindy back. Hello.
Hi, I'm here.
Oh boy, we're having a heck of a time with this
wanna
phone
know-
system.
I want to know who's on second. That's
Okay,
what
I got.
Exactly.
This is terrible, Cindy. Now you know why I coach softball and I don't do technical stuff. Hopefully I get my caller from 1 back. Let's see what we got, because I got something. All right.
Is anybody out there?
So I got Cindy on 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I
we're
thought,
gonna
well,
we're
one
gonna have
was
to do
blinking
one
a
at
minute.
time, I think that's.
Well, no, we can't do one at a time. I got to have this as an important one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But until we get that call back, we'll get this figured out. Cindy, where were we a minute? Oh, we were talking about. Oh, Cindy, are you watching the audio version on the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not able to right now. No.
You can't. The caller that called in a second ago was complaining about the shirt I had on, and for once, there's only one shirt I wear that is not an ASU shirt, and I got this as a gift from my super stud at Western last year. Maybe you got to see Kaylee Puloa at Georgia this year.
Oh, how funny. No, I did not.
Okay.
But I know you were talking about her, and I didn't get to see them play, but I know a lot about her.
She's an awesome. But I want to get to this other call if we can hook it up right here for this. I got a very important call here. So bear with me, Cindy. I appreciate that. I got the boss here, and he's gonna get it. Do hold. He said conference is there. Do I have both callers? They're both blinking. Cindy, can you hear me?
Maybe take it off hold.
Do we take it off hold now? Take it off hold. Okay, there. Oh, do we have Cindy? Nope. Okay, wait, do we got it?
We got it there.
We got Cindy?
Anybody?
You got me.
I got Susie.
Yep.
And do we got Cindy now?
Yeah, you got Cindy. Is that you, Braz? Hey, Cindy Bristow, how's it going? Brasney, what are you doing? How the heck are you? I need to be your first guest caller. Yes, that's awesome.
For those of you in the audience,
reminisce about fun times. Is that what we're doing here, Braz? That's what we're here for, buddy.
Cindy, why don't you give us a little history there? The audience, these two ladies go back a little ways, I think.
Yes, not very far because we aren't that old, of course, but Exactly. No, Susie Brasney was probably the best shortstop I ever saw in my whole life. And, growing up out there, you saw a few of them come and go. And I don't know how you did it either, Braz, but you played, like, forever. You're probably still playing now. I'm still playing ball, but not fast pitch anymore. Okay, see, I knew it. You always had it in you. You just loved playing. I think that's one of the reasons that made you so good. Well, it was also good mentors like you when I first started. Well, I just loved the fact that everything I gave up as a pitcher, you could somehow race down, track down, and throw them out, because I might have contributed to how good you were because they hit the ball a whole lot off me. So you get a lot of defensive practice out there.
For those of you in the audience, that's Cindy Bristol, softball. Actually, the other caller we got is Susie Brasney, who's the head softball coach at Golden West College here in Huntington Beach, California. And Susie comes out and recruits my girls, and we've gone back a few years, and I've had a couple players play for her. And so Cindy, we were talking one time, and she said that she knew Susie. I said, I got to get Susie on the show. And I tried to get her in studio, but their schools, they don't know the old days when your school stopped on the 1st of June, I guess doesn't happen anymore.
When do you get out, Braz? Well, the students are gone, but I'm a 12-month employee, so I'm still here. Okay. All right. You know who lives out here is Copeland.
Yeah, you're in Florida, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Back
Too
in the
funny.
Days, back to the Hawkettes days.
That's right. And Coach Mike, we were just talking about how big softball's gotten collegiately and the facilities and the money in the SEC. And when we played in the anti-SEC days, oh my God, throw up a chain link fence and that was our stadium.
Right. Well, look at our Cal Poly field, grass infield and no outfield fence.
The field,
I
Field
know.
of Dreams, right? Field of
Dreams.
Yeah.
If you build it, they'll come, right.
Yeah, it was. I think it was uncluttered though. It was easy just to have passion for the game because there was nothing else distracting your passion.
Oh,
I mean, you weren't
for sure.
playing
We
because
played-
of TV
we played
or the
because we loved
stadiums or
it, that's for
anything.
sure. Yep.
Wow, that's now. So when you both played at Cal Poly, and most people probably do they still have softball there?
No. Cal Poly San Luis does, but not Pomona, and we played at Pomona.
Yeah,
Wow.
Pomona dropped the program about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so much with the economy. There's so much stuff going on with sports. It's hard to keep up, and yet we still see certain programs just thriving like they have an unlimited budget.
I think a lot of it has to do with the football schools.
Right. And they tried to start football at Pomona, but that was a failed experiment.
The only good
Remember
part was
Roman Gabriel, the old Rams
on
quarterback? They hired him to be the football coach.
Right. That was the only good part about it.
Right.
So now, Cindy, I know you went on and played a little bit of pro. Did Susie follow?
They didn't have any pro ball really that I could play. I played on the U.S. national team for quite a few years, and then what we would consider our pro ball was the women's major division of ASA softball, and
Okay.
I played that for 26 seasons.
26 seasons. Wow.
Susie's in the ASA Hall of Fame as a player, and rightly so.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I won't tell you all that, but I will.
Yeah, she is so humble, and she comes out, and that's why I love. She's all about the girls. She's all about the girls, and she comes out and she's tried to get a few of my. We almost had one of my girls go on tour this year, maybe next year. Got a few, but that's so
well,
close.
how do you get into the Hall of Fame?
Oh,
You have to be nominated, so it's not like Susie called up and said, hey, how about me? It was someone else has to nominate you, and with that comes this big notebook of basically verifying your credentials. And then the committee sits there with tons of these because a lot of people feel they're worthy of it, and they have to just then, by voting, narrow it down to only a few. Only like 3 to 4 get in every year. And there's lots of people that are passed over year after year after year. And I don't know if you even know, Braz, but I think after 5 years, if you aren't in, you get thrown out and have to be renominated after a couple of years again. And I think Brasney went in on the first time.
Right, that's exactly right. Yeah, I retired in 2005, and the first year I was eligible was 2010, and that's the year I went in.
So is there a place, is there a Hall of Fame somewhere that you
There
can
is.
go
It's
visit?
Oklahoma City, where the World Series, the Women's College World Series, is held. The stadium is in the backyard of the ASA national offices and Hall of Fame.
Wow, a place to go visit.
You got a place, and
Yeah.
it's closer than Ohio.
Right. And it's cool because this event draws, tens of thousands, tons of people to the Women's College World Series, and they go through the museum and get to see all the past greats of our game.
Wow.
Well, the reason I ask is because I'm a layman to softball. I played soccer all my life. None of my kids are in sports, and this is all new to me. I haven't heard any of this, and I didn't realize how serious it was and how the adults really do play a big part of everything that's going on with the associations, on a national level.
That's right.
And I had no idea. I really didn't.
Right. And I think that's, Braz, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the benefits that we had, and we being you, my sister, and everybody that played with us, Copeland, we all had great supportive parents. They didn't meddle, but they helped. They just made it possible for us to play.
Cindy, can I get you to hold that thought? We got to take a commercial break real quick, and we'll come back after the break and finish from that, because I know that's a good story coming. Coach Mike at Kids in Sports will be back after these messages.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199. This segment's sponsored by Mucho Macho Michelada. Whenever you got to spice up your beer, Mucho Macho Michelada is for you. Only real men.
Did you say mucho macho?
Mucho Macho, baby, where the real men come to drink.
Hey, I don't always drink michelada, but when I do, I drink mucho macho michelada.
If only Arvin could be a little more mucho macho.
Will it put some hair on my chest?
No, but te quema entrando y saliendo.
Welcome to the Monster Marketing Group, your one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. Anything you need to make that marketing and advertising campaign stand out, we're your people. Concepts, design, production, social media, anything that you can dream up, we're going to make happen for you, and we can do it in a very quick turnaround. Please give us a call at 888-49-MONSTER.
Hi, I'm Eddie Sell, creator of Firehouse Chefs, and you're listening to FHC Radio. Join us every Wednesday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. and join our community of firefighters, chefs, food industry professionals, celebrities, and more as we take you on a journey that melds our professional passions into a fun, insightful, and engaging show. Welcome to FHC Radio on the Rant Radio Network.
That little tune's ringing in my head now.
You're going to be sleeping with it. Coach Mike here, Kids in Sports on the Rant Radio Network. Thanks for joining us in our welcome back debut, so to speak, on a new network here. My guest today is Cindy Bristow of Softball Excellence, and another call-in guest, Susie Brasney, the head softball coach at Golden West. These two fine ladies played together and have been friends for a long time, and you never know what a small world softball can be. And you know, talking to each one separately is, oh, I know this, I know that person, and so I had to get them together at least one time. Before the break, we were talking about the involvement of parents and how it leads a chance. I was going to ask Cindy too about what changes have you seen over the last few years in youth sports. But Cindy, go back. As I recall, your mom started a league out here.
Yeah, my mom and dad started the Riverside Girls Softball Association basically because there wasn't one. And, I mean, that's how parents used to, when we were growing up, Braz and I, they'd make an opportunity available not by meddling, but by saying, okay, well, if you want to go try out, you better go practice.
There you go.
And instead of, you're going to go try out. I never felt pushed or forced. And I also never felt coddled. I remember the one time I complained that I wasn't hitting where I felt, in my crazy estimation, I should be in the lineup. And my mom said, well, clearly Carol, who is our coach, doesn't think you're good enough. So you need to go out and practice more. And So that was the end of my complaining because she was right.
You
And,
you didn't cry and quit and walk off the field?
Well, or my mom didn't go, oh, I can't believe Carol doesn't see how great you are. I mean, there was nothing to see. I wasn't great. So, I don't think any of that hovering or over-parenting, while it's done out of love, it doesn't help the kids.
No.
Because if Braz and I failed, well, we failed. That's part of sports. So you had to go out and practice more and get back at it and do better.
Susie, who was the better hitter?
Hitter, Cindy was probably the better hitter. I was more of a
Braz.
singles hitter. Cindy had more power than me, but I was more of a singles hitter.
Yeah.
I heard
That's like saying, okay, that's like say Pete Rose telling somebody they had more power than him. So, okay,
Who
I'll
isn't
take
in the
it,
Hall of
Braz.
Fame, by the
However
way?
however you give it to me, I'll take it, Braz. But you were clearly the better player, period.
I don't know about that, but on the parent line, my mom and dad both coached and managed. I came up through the North Huntington Beach Bobby Sox organization, and my mom was very funny. I was very small at 9 years old when I started playing, and she was so good at not letting me get cocky or have too high of expectations. So each year she'd say, okay, it's your first year playing, don't expect to play very much. And then I did play quite a bit. And then she was like, don't expect to make an all-star team and don't expect to be a starter. She always kind of kept me from getting too big of a head. She, enjoyed every step of the way. She always asked if I could go back to being 12 years old and stay there so she could, go back through the Bobby Sox and the high school days and the Cal Poly days. And but yes, what our parents did is they allowed us to be kids and they allowed us to play and they allowed us to fail, but they allowed us to enjoy the sport.
Oh, the other thing, Susie, that I passed on, Cindy and I were talking a couple of years ago on it, and when we were kids too, we didn't have the parents dragging us to pitching lessons, hitting lessons, defensive lessons, lessons, and whatever, 5 days a week. If we wanted to play, we got some of our neighbor kids and went to the park and we played.
Right, 100%. Yeah, and most of us played more than one sport growing up. I mean, I played 4 sports in high school, and softball wasn't 24/7 like it is for the kids nowadays.
There you go.
Yeah, they're stronger and faster and better physical athletes. The equipment's better. And with some of the players, clearly, certainly the love's better. But I think our passion was really all we had. We were playing it if we were passionate and loved it. And if we didn't, like Braz said, we'd be off doing another sport because we had other options. We never felt like you're going to go out and practice. It was always, I want to go out and practice.
Right.
Now, you mentioned that your parents really didn't blow you up, but what it sounds like, you lovely ladies actually did experience all of those things anyway.
Correct.
I mean, even though your parents didn't push you to do those things, you still experienced those things. That requires a certain level of responsibility.
Right, and our parents were always.
Go ahead,
what, Braz?
Go ahead.
No, you.
I was going to say,
It's like
I
the chipmunks.
think that's always going to
Chip and Dale.
happen. That you're going to experience. Everybody's going to experience similar things. It's just how you get to that final point.
Right.
And because our parents were so involved, Brasney knew my parents, I knew her parents. We all knew each other's parents in a supportive way. Like, I never felt Brasney's parents cheered for Brasney more than they cheered for me or my sister.
Okay.
They cheered for all of us, and yet they'd be there honestly. If we blew it, they'd go, man, that wasn't your best game. Not in a hateful way, but like in an honest way. We knew it.
Right.
It was great.
I understand. My dad I did 2 years of Little League that I can vaguely remember. And my dad told me early on that I was not going to be an athlete of any kind. So
look at you now.
Look at me now. Yeah, now, those that can't play, those that can't coach, I guess. I don't know. But now Susie proves that one wrong, so she did both. And Cindy did both. So, what can I say? But I took my shot with basketball. I liked basketball, and I went 1 year at Phoenix College, and for 6 months I practiced. I never played in high school because I never thought I was good enough, and I just played church leagues. And that 1 year, the coach, I made the first cut, and the second cut, he comes to me and says, "You didn't play high school ball, did you?" And I said, "No." And he says, "I could tell." He says, any other year, I would want to keep you around and work with you a bit because I like what I see here. But that year, he had 7 All-State guards, and he had both returning starters coming back, including one that was an All-American. I think his name was like Irvis Easter or something. And I wasn't tall enough to be anything but a guard. So I sort of felt good that I took my shot. And then every now and then I wondered, maybe he was testing me. Maybe I should have pushed harder. You never know. You never know.
Right. And you probably see it, Braz, at the JC level, players that you think, wow, they're not going to get it, and then they get it. It's so fulfilling when that happens.
For sure, and a lot at our level, because a lot of our players are backup role players to the kids that end up at those D1 schools. You know, maybe so-and-so is a great shortstop, but because, you know, this girl that's going to go to Tennessee next year is the starting shortstop, she's playing the outfield, so then she gets over here to a community college and actually gets to play shortstop and gets to drill and gets to work and gets to get better, turns into that great athlete that was kind of just in hiding because she didn't get to show it on her high school or her travel ball team.
Yeah.
No, I have to ask, ladies, if you don't mind, where does the whole Braz thing come from?
My last name is Brasney.
Oh, Brasney. Okay, got it. Okay.
We call her. Everybody calls her Braz.
I didn't catch that. Okay, I apologize.
She's real good.
Way too long. Braz is really what it is.
It's
the whole knee thing, I guess, was too hard to say.
There you go. Oh, jeez. Okay, man. That's what happens. You got to have rookies around. What can I say?
Well, it's just every once in a while there's a story behind it. You know.
There you go. Cindy, we talked a little bit briefly. You said you knew quite a bit about my star from last year that's now at Georgia. What, Georgia brought in 7 freshmen this year?
Yeah, there's so many teams that have like predominant freshmen. Florida was another one, and so you never know how that's going to go. And Lou had her hands full, but yet what it does is it creates that kind of melting pot for those kids to form their own culture on that team. And they had some highs and they had some lows, which your young players are going to have. But that group is going to really be strong in the future.
Oh, ASU beat them twice 2-0, and that was they played some pretty good games there. Kaylee got hit a couple times. I know she almost knocked one out down the right field line the one night. And I thought, a little bit more, but. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty good team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, and Luke can coach them up big time.
Yeah.
I think Nebraska's the same way. Wasn't their whole starting infield freshmen?
Wow.
Crazy. We were just talking about that, Braz. Isn't that crazy at that level, on that stage, they're that good?
Yeah, and you know what? We were talking about how athletic the girls are and how much stronger and the better equipment. And a lot of it, I think, is coming from just playing softball since they were 4 or 5. I definitely think they're more athletic softball-wise than we were, but they also don't have the other skills that you learn from the other sports.
Right.
Maybe the aggressiveness from playing basketball or soccer, or the other concepts. Even volleyball, a ball that drops between people in volleyball, that doesn't happen, but in softball sometimes it does. And so I definitely think they're bigger, faster, stronger, but because most of them didn't play a second or third sport, they're great softball athletes, but they're not necessarily great athletes.
Right.
Right.
That's a good point. And Susie, you said that if for some kids you'll give them the opportunity, sometimes at Golden West, or if they wanted to do like volleyball or something.
Oh yeah, we get girls that do the volleyball, softball. We used to have a basketball team, but we don't have it anymore because of budget issues. We definitely get some that'll do soccer and softball, and then occasionally they'll also do track at the same time, and they'll go and throw javelin in their off days of softball or shot put or whatever, things like that.
Gotcha. Okay. I would have done as many sports as I could. The only thing I ended up doing in high school was cross country, and after a couple of years, I got injured because I got one of those JOB things and got some soda pop bottles. The soda company was experimenting with they're coming out with the no return bottles back then. That dates me a little bit. We all had returnable bottles.
Well, you said soda pop too. That was the other thing.
But a couple I was stocking the shelf one night, and a couple bottles hit the ground and cut my leg, and that ended my cross-country career. So, oh well. Now I guess I got a good thing I could talk.
Were you wearing shorts?
No, cut right
They
through my
went right
pants.
through your pants,
Cut right,
really?
And the only thing on my mind was who's going to clean up this mess. There were 2 2-liter bottles of soda on the floor under the trash bin, and I'm thinking, who's got to mop this up?
Well, when I think 2-liter bottle, I'm thinking plastic.
No, they were, back then we had returnable bottles, and they were just coming out with the no returns, which the thin glass actually would blow up in the back room. We had no air conditioning at the store, and you would hear the caps popping off from the heat in Phoenix.
Wow.
We got to take a commercial break. My guests, Cindy Bristow and Susie Brasney. We'll be back in just a minute here on the Rant Radio Network.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
We're the Brothers Bear Podcast Live, and I'm your host, Sanch, and I'm always joined by
Edgar, Carlos Mandrano, and this is a show where we talk about comics, movies, TV, video games, stand-up, music, and many more geeky things. Catch us live on Rant Radio Network on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's another commercial in the back.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
DM Narc Radio Show is now airing on the Rant Radio Network. You've heard the 3 guys Rant refer to us as the Clam Chowder Power Hour. Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
It's hard to believe that 2 hours has gone by already today. Coach Mike here, Kids and Sports on the Rant Radio Network. And yes, we're down to our last segment. My guests, Cindy Bristow from Softball Excellence, Susie Brasney from Golden West, and my sitting guest, Alex Alani. Now you got me all messed up, Alex.
That's all right. Just say whatever you like. That's
anyway, ladies, I wanted to finish with a couple of quick notes on the last segment here. Did you notice the scorekeeping error in the Tennessee-Washington game on Saturday?
No, I didn't because I was trying to fly back. So no, tell us about it.
If you can go back, I'm getting to be cynical in my old age. No, the announcers said there was runners were on second and third, and a fly ball down the line over third to left, short left. Left fielder came in, had her glove on the ball, dropped it. The girl at third decided to try and go home. Left fielder threw her out at home, which apparently Coach Weekly wasn't real happy about her taking that. I guess the team sort of told her to go, and he was sort of saying it was his job to tell him. But anyway, the announcers came on and said, "Oh, that's a fielder's choice for the batter, and yeah, that's what they gave her. Said the scorekeeper gave her that.
Oh, base hit.
I said it's a hit, either a hit or if you wanted to. I called it an error because I felt the lefty should have had it, the left fielder. But yeah, you could say it was a hit because how much ground she covered, and so I caught. So I'm sort of picking on scorekeeping now every now and I say it, but. Alex brought up a good point. I'd like to have each one of you ladies address it individually. And Susie, I'll start with you locally here. What would you like to see changed in the youth sports arena as far as, is there one thing that we could do that make things better?
I love the parent involvement. I just wish it wouldn't be so hyper extensive. I mean, just let the kids play and let them learn the game and let them love the game and let them keep playing if they choose to play, and if they choose not to, let them find another passion, because I think a lot of kids are being forced to do things because their parents want to see them in that big stage on the the Women's College World Series, instead of letting them choose what they want to do, because a lot of times when they get to 18, 19 years old, I get them here at the community college, and their parents have been talking scholarships since they were 4 years old, and now they're at a college that doesn't have scholarships. They're kind of feel like failures sometimes, and I wish the parents would just let them play, be supportive, card them here and there, help them out with whatever they need to do, but let them make the decision on what team I want to be on and where I want to play, and a little bit more of let them play because they love it, not because Mom and Dad want them to.
Right, and that's even some very good players. I've actually heard of very good athletes say, I'm sick of playing.
Oh, yeah.
Cindy, how about you on that?
I would take a different. I agree with everything that Brasney said, but I would take a totally different approach. I would eliminate anybody being able to play travel ball until they're 14 and under. And this isn't in my perfect world, and the reason is I think too many of them just start team skipping, like, I'm not playing enough here, so I'm going to go guest on this team. And all they're doing is finding a team to give them the most exposure instead of realizing I need to build the base of my skills. My skills are going to expose themselves. If I'm a stud pitcher, stud fielder, stud hitter, the coaches are going to find me because my skills are going to then bring me to a good team when I'm old enough. They aren't building the base of their skills solidly enough before they start playing them in competition or using them in competition.
Right. And I even see where they try and get 8-year-olds on travel, and I say, give me a break. I mean, that's too young. They're not ready.
Right.
Mentally.
Yeah, I agree. And I know it's radical, especially given the fact that that the colleges want these players to commit verbally so early now.
Right.
That my little thing's unrealistic, but I don't know. It would help them so much to build up their skills more and appreciate their teammates more.
Right.
Instead of saying, well, we're doing bad because you can't field balls.
Right. Right. I just see, like you say, the team jumping. It's said about some players that they got a shirt, a jersey from every team in their locker, in their closet. But the worst thing is, I tell some parents, if your daughter is 10 or 12, she might be good enough to play in 14, or your 13-year-old might be good enough to play 16 or 18, but do you want her hanging around with girls that are driving and maybe dating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're all playing. They're they say they're all playing so that they can get a scholarship, which is now when you can't team jump. I can't just say, I don't like Golden West, I'm going to go play at Mount Sac. You can't just start team jumping once you're in college without it causing some difficulties and really not being possible the way they've gotten used to it being possible. So they don't make good enough decisions before they decide to go play for a team because they know they can just get out of it quickly and go somewhere else.
Susie, when you're recruiting, do you make a note, or do you have a way to find, if you see a player, you find out she's been on 6 teams in 2 years?
I would definitely address it, and just hey, I'm hoping that when you come to my school, this is the place that is best for you. But I can usually tell just by watching a kid play and talking to him to find out if they're going to be loyal to my program or whether they're going to be that one that's looking for every single different opportunity instead of saying, nope, this is what I like what I see, I'm here for the long haul to be in your program.
As long as they don't look at that left field chalk line.
Exactly. It gets tricky sometimes, doesn't it?
I couldn't resist. Cindy, we went over to see Golden West play because I had another kid that had been with me at Western playing for Fulton, and they were playing each other. And we went over there, and I guess somebody had messed up her, and she had like 3 chalk lines.
Oh, yeah. My maintenance guys had a little issue with a straight baseline, so we just decided which one we wanted to use that day.
Toss a coin on that one. That's pretty good. We got a few minutes left. I do want to give a shout out, and then I'd like to give these 2 good friends a chance to give each other a shout back. But I do want to shout out if you see on OC Varsity this week, a former Kidz and Sports guest and a friend of mine, Doug Myers, the head softball coach at Mater Dei for the last 18 years, has decided to retire from Mater Dei. He's still going to coach his OC Batbuster team. But, Doug's, I think, a pretty good guy, and I think his successor got some big shoes to follow, but I hear she's pretty good.
Yeah, Tia will do a great job there. She's from a great softball family, and she'll take over that program and keep it where it's at.
Good. Hopefully we can get Doug on the show here in the near future, and we've always enjoyed it. Cindy, you want to give Susie a shout first, and I'll go back as we come to our last few minutes.
Well, it's always great to talk to you, Braz. I was sorry to hear about your dad. Your parents were just so much a part of my life growing up. But I think it's awesome that you're coaching at a place like Golden West that really can help those players bridge their education and their softball to something in the future. And so it's awesome you're doing that.
Miss Susie?
Thanks, Cindy. I mean, we go back so far, all the way back to the late 70s and the Hawkette days. And like I said, you and your sister and Judy Stambra and some of those guys on that first team really showed me as a 17-year-old what it was like to play at a higher level. And I've always tried to remember that as I was continuing through as a player and as a coach, to always help that young kid see what it's all about and help them know and love our sport.
Excellent. Ladies, I thank you both for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun, and I know I get Cindy back. What do we go about every couple of months? They bring you out, Cindy.
Right, that's about right.
And we'll always
let me go hide and then bring me back out.
How come? Okay, how come we're not seeing you on TV as much?
It's okay. It's all right.
You don't mind? I was looking
to
see you.
I know. I was having some technical difficulties today, so we had no Skype.
No, not today at the World Series. I was.
Oh yeah. I was in for meetings and never even made it to the stadium. Now, how about that?
Oh man, I'd go drag you out of the meeting to get you over there.
In fact, there was one day I never made it out of the hotel. Started in the morning and then ended in the basement. So the whole day I was in the hotel and meetings.
Oh my goodness. All right, ladies, thank you both for joining me. We'll do it again sometime. Have a great week, and we'll do it again. Teach first and win later.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Thank
you.
Good to see you, Cindy.
Bye, Braz.
Okay. Down to our last couple of minutes of Kidz and Sports here with Coach Mike. And I hope you'll join us again next Tuesday. Haven't got my guest yet. I got to go back to work now and bring them out. Sign up for my newsletter. You'll find out who that is. And I will talk all sport. Today was sort of a softball day, like Alex pointed out. But I will get baseball guys in here. I'm going to tap into my old list too. We'll talk about concussions because that's a big topic on youth sports. And so always be checking in. If you want to call on the show, I'd love to do it. We'll talk scorekeeping. I love to talk youth sports. I love to talk.
We'll get you talking about it.
What's your oldest daughter?
She's 20.
20.
Yeah.
So she's already okay. She done.
She's married off.
She's already no sports for. Okay, keep coming.
Next one down is 9.
9. See, okay, now's the time to get that one started. But you heard the tips. Let them play.
Well, she'll be next week's topic.
There you go. Hey, you know what? We'll bring her in. Maybe not next week, but one of these weeks when they're out of school. I do that every now. I bring the kids in. Let's hear their story because I think sometimes as parents we forget it. They have their story too, and we can learn something from them. I sit down at the end of my season with all my girls, and I ask them, what can we do better as coaches? And I may not always agree with them. Sometimes their perception, is quite a bit different. But a lot of times I get some really good feedback, and I got to remember that's their perception. That's the way they're seeing it. Maybe I can tweak something with my assistant coach a little bit, and we want to help the kids succeed. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, well, that's very insightful. Us as adults, a lot of times we think we know it all. And quite frankly, if you listen to some of the younger kids, I mean, I have a 3-year-old that says things sometimes that I'm just like, wow. And I really do listen to her because there's just things that I don't know everything. I need to hear those things.
It's a fine line. I remember the days my uncle said, do as I say, not as I do. And we still need to have some of that. There needs to be, in my opinion, some rules out there. But we also need to have those times to let our kids grow up. Give them time to grow up. Help them out. Give them encouragement, and listen to what they're going through. You can't help them if you don't know where they're at, right?
Right on.
Thanks a lot, Phil. Good first day as a rookie in there on the boards. We'll get it all right. We'll get all this technology stuff. We need some 5-year-olds to run the computers. Coach Mike, Kids in Sports on the Rant Radio Network. We'll see you next week.